When the last leash drops, the food runs out and the world turns wild again. Which dogs vanish first and which ones reclaim the wild? This is the rise and fall of dogs without humans, ranked from the most fragile to the ultimate survivors. They were never meant to survive on their own, bred for beauty, for comfort, for our affection, not for the wild. Some can't breathe, some can't walk, some can't even see through their own fur. Without us, they would all be gone in a first or second generation, and they are the first to fall. Let's start with the brachycephalic breeds. These dogs have one thing in common: flat faces. We all know them, they are so popular nowadays. Frenchies, English Bulldogs, Pugs, Pekingese. They suffer from chronic breathing problems due to their shortened skulls and compressed airways. Even in perfect conditions, they struggle to regulate body temperature, often overheating in mild weather. In the wild, this becomes lethal. They can't run, they can't cool down, many can't even give birth without surgery. Without human intervention, these breeds would not make it through a single breeding cycle. Nature rewards efficiency, not cuteness. Then there are dogs whose coats never stop growing. Dogs like the Poodle, Shih Tzu and Bichon have hair that grows continuously. In a domestic setting, it's trimmed and brushed. Without grooming, it mats into dense tangles that trap moisture, cause skin infection and make movement painful. And it is not only these cute dogs. I can also mention the Old English Sheepdog, for example. Long fur around the eyes and ears also leads to vision problems, ear infections and vulnerability to parasites. In the wild, a matted coat is a slow and painful death sentence. And what about the giants? They may look powerful, but their size works against them. Breeds like the Saint Bernard, Great Dane, Dog de Bordeaux or Neapolitan Mastiff require enormous amounts of food to maintain their weight, far more than they would be able to find or hunt on their own. Most suffer from joint issues, heat sensitivity and extremely short lifespans. They have such a short lives even when we help them, and many are bred to be calm and slow moving, not traits that help when food is scarce or danger is near. Without human care and a constant food supply, these gentle giants would vanish quickly. Then there are breeds that were shaped for niche purposes, often to an unhealthy extreme. Dachshunds and Basset hounds have exaggeratedly long bodies and short legs, which make them prone to spinal injuries and joint degeneration. The Shar-Pei's excess skin folds trap moisture and bacteria, leading to infections. Clumber Spaniels often suffer from hip dysplasia and mobility issues. In a world where every step matters and every escape could mean life or death, these structural flaws are fatal. And finally, there are the crossbreeds. Designer dogs are often created for aesthetics, novelty, or perceived hypoallergenic traits. But mixing two very different breeds doesn't automatically create a healthier animal. In fact, it often results in dogs with unpredictable temperaments, inconsistent coat types, and medical issues from both parent breeds. Many golden doodles, cockapoos, cavapoos, or labradoodles inherit the grooming needs of the poodle and the health issues of their other half. Others struggle with behavior problems due to mismatched energy levels or instincts. Without human structure and care, these unpredictable hybrids are poorly equipped for independent survival. Some dogs wouldn't fall immediately. They're athletic, alert, even tough. They might scavenge, avoid predators, or band together. But they were never meant to live without us. They rely on our structure, our protection, our food, and most importantly, our purpose. Without us, they survive for a while, but they are on a borrowed time. Tiny companions like the Chihuahua and Pomeranian pack big personalities into small bodies, but in the wild, that's more curse than blessing. These tiny breeds lack the physical strength to defend themselves or hunt effectively. The toy poodle and papillon are quick and agile, but even the fastest escape doesn't help when your body can't withstand the cold or go days without food. In warm, quiet corners of the world, a few might scrape by, but nature has no sympathy for small bodies and big egos. Then we have the overachievers. The border collie is brilliant, perhaps too brilliant. Bred to respond to human commands and anticipate our every move, it becomes anxious and unstable without guidance. The Australian Shepherd, Collie and Shetland Sheepdog share this same dependency. They are agile, fast and physically capable, but their minds are wired to work with us. Without structure or purpose, they become restless. Without tasks to complete, they chase shadows, and without us, their energy becomes a burden. Maybe surprisingly, but I will put urban guardians into this tier as well. Powerful and loyal, these dogs were bred to protect us. The Doberman and Rottweiler were made for guarding homes and people. The Cane Corso brings intimidation and strength, and the Boxer is full of heart and energy. But protection isn't enough. These breeds have low prey drive, rely on high-protein diets, and often face inherited health issues. In the early days, after we are gone, they might take control of empty neighborhoods, but soon the food runs out, and without a family to guard, their purpose disappears. Muscle alone doesn't make a survivor. Labradors and Golden Retrievers are everything we want in companion. Trusting, affectionate, energetic. But those same traits turn into liabilities without us. These dogs are friendly to a fault. They approach threats without fear, and they don't have strong instincts to hunt or scavenge. English Setters and Springer Spaniels have the endurance to roam far, but not the skills to find food or defend it. They were bred to find game and bring it back to us, but now there's no one waiting on the other end. Let's go back to giant dogs for a moment, because not all giants are doomed from the start. The Borbol was bred to protect farms in South Africa, often without much supervision. The Fila Brasileiro and Presa Canario were expected to think independently, patrol large areas and deal with intruders on their own. The Dogo Argentino was built to track and tackle wild boar. These dogs are strong, heat-tolerant and far more capable than the show-ring mastiffs, but even they have limits. Their size means they need a lot of food. Their loyalty often keeps them tied to familiar places long after they should have moved on. They will outlast many others, but in the long run, even the toughest guard dog get left behind. These dogs are tough, hardy, sometimes even independent. They were built to work outdoors, guard livestock or track prey, often without constant human supervision. Some have thick coats, others have sharp instincts. Many have lived in the background of human life, not just in the spotlight. But even the most rugged breeds carry weaknesses, whether it's their size, their health, or their over-specialized instincts. Something holds them back from thriving long-term in a world without us. They would make it through the first winter, maybe even raise a litter, but survival isn't just about strength, it's about adaptation. And these dogs, while resilient, are still limited. And some of the largest survivors would be the livestock guardians, bred to protect flocks from wolves and thieves. Dogs like the Kangal, Caucasian Ovcharka and Maremma sheepdog are built for independence. They can endure cold nights, sleep outdoors, and react to threats without waiting for commands. At first glance, they seem perfect for post-human survival, strong, self-reliant and watchful, but their massive size demands enormous amounts of food. Most LGDs have low prey drive, rarely hunt, and instead rely on a steady food source, something that won't exist anymore. They'll survive longer than most dogs, but eventually their bulk becomes a burden that they can carry. Then there are the scent-hounds. Beagle or bloodhound were born to follow a trail, and in some ways that's a survival skill. But following scent and catching prey are two different things. These dogs are often single-minded and slow, chasing scent for hours without a clear goal. The coonhound and a harrier might last longer thanks to their stamina, but they still depend on human hunters to complete the job. In the wild, every pursuit has to end in a meal, and these breeds often miss that final step. Their noses might lead them somewhere, but not always to survival. And what about the terriers? Patterson Russells, Airedales, Jack Terriers, the scrappy, relentless fighters of the dog world. These breeds are bold, no question. They don't back down. They'll go into a hole after a fox or face off with a predator twice their size. But in a world where cooperation matters more than courage, that boldness becomes a double-edged sword. They are small, they are loud, they fight when they should flee, and in the long run, that makes them vulnerable. They would make it longer than most small dogs, but their own instincts might be what ends them. These dogs don't wait for commands. They don't need grooming, fancy diets, or constant affection. Their instincts are sharp, their bodies are balanced, their minds are independent. Primitive breeds, semi-feral hunters, and ancient working dogs. These are the animals that lived on the edge of human life, not in the center of it. They are cautious, self-sufficient, and often invisible to those who think a dog should act like a pet. They wouldn't just make it through the collapse, they would learn to live in the silence that follows. Some of the best prepared survivors are the primitive and semi-feral breeds. These dogs were never far from the wild, and some never entered civilization at all. The Basenji still moves like a forest predator, with cat-like grace and complete emotional independence. Southeast Asia offers the agile Thai Ridgeback and the island-born Phu Quoc Ridgeback, both intelligent, aloof, and highly adaptable. The Telomian of Malaysia, originally known to climb ladders into tribal huts, and the Formosan mountain dog of Taiwan, once used for hunting in dense jungle, are both natural survivors, wary of strangers, highly alert, and able to live with or without human care. These are not pets that turned wild, these are dogs that were never truly tamed, and they are ready to live in a world without us. Then there are the survivors of the snow. Spitz and Nordic breeds have endured some of the harshest climates on Earth. The Laikas of Russia, for example West Siberian, East Siberian, or Russia-European Laikas, are sharp-eyed, driven hunters capable of surviving off the land in near-feral conditions. From the icy north, the Greenland dog has long worked alongside Inuit communities, enduring sub-zero temperatures and pulling sleds over frozen ground. The Icelandic sheepdog, smaller but alert and weatherproof, handled the rugged terrain of volcanic islands. The Akita, Jindo, Shikoku, and Norwegian elkhound all carry centuries of selective breeding for endurance, independence, and strength, not just loyalty. These breeds aren't pampered house dogs. They have worked for centuries, often with minimal commands, and they have the bodies and instincts to keep going when everything else collapses. These are not dogs we trained, they are the ones we tolerated. They never had pedigree, no bloodline, no papers. They lived in alleys, on beaches, beside garbage dumps and jungle trails. We called them strays, mutts, pariahs. But nature was shaping them the entire time. Medium-sized, sharp, cautious. These dogs have high genetic diversity, low disease rates, and the instincts to avoid danger, find food, and raise pups without help. They are not the future of dog breeds. They are what dogs become when humans disappear. In Africa, the Afrikanis is a true village dog, a medium-sized, low-maintenance animal that guards homes, scavenges scraps, and raises litters without human interference. In India, the pariah dog thrives in one of the world's harshest urban environments. They live in loose packs, avoid danger instinctively, and survive of whatever the city leaves behind. In the Philippines, the Aspen or Ascal, short for Asong Kalie, meaning street dog, fills a similar role. Medium-sized, short-coated, and sharp-minded, they adapt to both rural life and chaotic cities with ease. Most receive little to no care, yet they live long, healthy lives through pure environmental fitness. These dogs are not pampered, protected pets. They are the result of centuries, sometimes millennia, of natural selection. And when humans vanish, these dogs won't blink, they'll just keep moving. And once we are gone, even the last purebreds will begin to fade. Lineages will dissolve. What remains will be the dogs that adapt, reproduce, and pass on what works. Over generations, most surviving dogs will begin to look the same: medium-sized, agile, short-coated, often tan or black, like the dogs that roam villages and ruins today. These feral mutts won't carry names or pedigrees. They'll carry survival traits, caution, cunning, and the ability to eat almost anything. They will avoid conflict, scavenge efficiently, and raise pups in shelters we left behind. This isn't the end of dogs, it's their next chapter. Because not all dogs were meant to live without us, but some will. The world after humans won't be quiet. It will be full of howls, footbeats, and new stories written in paw prints. The breeds we built will fade, but dogs will remain. Not as Labradors or Bulldogs, but as survivors. And if you would like to see what that world might truly look like, what happens when the leash is broken for good, you can check out my previous video about post-human dogs. Link is in description. Because for some of them, the wild was never that far away.